Welcome metalheads to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm going to be reviewing a little collection of live albums, a lot of live reissues in fact, from Swedish Black Metal gods, the mighty Marduk. And these albums, we've got a real mixed batch here. We've got some that are stronger than others, but we've got a really interesting collection of material, most certainly. So, if you've been following the channel, you may have recently seen a Bands You Need to Hear recommendation, recommending Marduk as a band that you absolutely need to hear, which of course they are. But I did also mention in that particular review that Marduk have a whole host of live albums. They've got loads of live albums, as I say, some slightly better than others, but they have all recently been reissued or issued for the first time. So, we'll start off chronologically, and we're going to be talking about the least essential of the live albums. It is entitled Skrigskara, I believe, which is very difficult to pronounce, or Warwolf. This was recorded in 1993, December of 1993 in Sweden, and it's got a cool cover. I really do like the artwork there. It's very much sort of a bit Warhammer-esque. Games Workshop sort of art there, but it's, as I say, it's an interesting one because the sound quality is really quite poor. This is definitely the sort of thing that is more aimed at completionists, collectors, and really die-hard fans of Marduk. This is not a good starting point if you've never heard Marduk, nor would I say this is essential listen. This is more just something you could listen to once and probably be quite satisfied with that, quite content with that. So this album, as I say, was recorded in 1993. So this is early on in Marduk's career. I believe this would have been around the sort of time of those of the Unlight album. And although we do have some slightly better material here than others, it's just quite nondescript. It's just a bit of an inaudible fuzz, if you like. Tracks that do sort of stand out a little bit more than others are On Darkened Wings. Wolves is another good one. Those of the Unlight, Still Fucking Dead. They're just sort of classic Marduk tracks. We've still got Joachim on vocals by this point, so the second vocalist featured on those of the Unlight album and the Opus Nocturne. Interesting material, just non-essential. It's the sort of stuff that once you've listened to it once, I don't personally need to listen to it again. So starting off on a slightly less positive note, I suppose, but things do definitely improve. So we'll talk about this little article then, which I absolutely love the artwork of. This is Germania. This was, comes as no surprise, this was recorded in Germany. This is a really good, strong album. In fact, to be more specific, this was recorded on the Heaven Shall Burn tour, 96 to 97. And it's just actually a really good live effort. This is strong in terms of its material. We've got Legion on vocals by this point, who is a fantastic vocalist. And we've got plenty of great, cracking black metal in its live setting. Tracks like Beyond the Grace of God, Sulphur Souls, The Black, Materialized in Stone, On Darkened Wings and Wolves again, Legion, and there's a brilliant cover of Destruction's classic Total Disaster to close things off. But this is ripping. This is great musicianship. This is cracking black metal. And those live versions of some of those tracks, they sound just as good, if not better, than the studio equivalents. It is really nasty, harsh stuff. And with a cover that good, it's definitely enticing. And what you do notice about the Marduk live albums is that none of them feature a live shot, and none of them make it very clear, other than the next one we're going to talk about, none of them make it massively clear when it came about, where it was recorded, or any of those sorts of details. But Germania, definitely a better live offering than the Skara album, with its difficult to pronounce title. So on to the next one. We've got, recorded in 1999 on the World Panzer Battle, we've got World Panzer Battle 1999. Absolutely cracking stuff. This is really good material here. We've got plenty of brilliant stuff in the form of Panzer Division Marduk. We've got Baptism by Fire, Of Hell's Fire, 502, Materialized in Stone, Beasts of Prey, Those of the Unlight, which is a personal favourite track of mine, Sulphur Souls, absolutely essential, On Darkened Wings, and Legion. All sounds brilliant. Musicianship is flawless. You can't fault these guys. It's just absolutely pummeling the pace at which they deliver. And I cannot wait, to be honest, to see Marduk live in May. They sound brutal, absolutely thunderous. It's a cacophony of divine, deadly black metal. Absolutely brilliant. Sound quality is much better. Certainly much better than the Skara album. Just as good as Germania. Really good stuff. Enjoyable. If you wanted to hear the greatest hits of Marduk in a live setting, then this is certainly a pretty good choice. World Panzer Battle 1999. Absolutely terrific stuff. So that's the last of the CD format that I have. Now we're going to be moving on to good old-fashioned cassette tape. So, first pick here. This is Infernal Eternal. I'm going to take it out of the case so that you're not blinded by glare. This is another really good live effort. Really, this is, out of all of them, this is probably my favourite. I love that cover. Although, again, it's a cover that doesn't actually necessarily tell you it's a live album, which is one of the things I have an issue with. That and some of these things are released well out of sequence. So if you've maybe seen some of the episodes that I've done recently with my dad, where we've been discussing live albums that are released completely at the wrong time, so years after the actual fact, that we're not a big fan of that. And also it is good to have some sort of indication if it's a live album or not. Marduk ticked the boxes for not telling you straight away it's a live album, and also releasing things far later. Infernal Eternal was recorded on the World Panzer Battle Tour, again, France in fact, as opposed to the World Panzer Battle 1999 album, which was recorded in Germany. A lot of the same material features here, although there are a few differences. We do get a few more tracks on this version on this album than we do actually on the World Panzer Battle. We've got tracks such as Slay the Nazarene, and a cover of the classic Celtic Frost track Into Crypts of Rays feature on this album, which they don't on the World Panzer Battle. But this is great. This is a really good, strong live album. Again, it's a Marduk live greatest hits, if you like. Really good stuff. And to be honest, it sounds so cool in this little analog format, in that tape form. This is a recent reissue, as I say, from back on Black Records. Really cool. Really, really like it. Definitely the strongest out of all of their live albums, in my opinion. So, moving on ever so slightly, we are going to 2001, actually. So we're going back in time, forward in time by a couple of years. So we're going to 2001 with Totentanz, 2001. Good cover. Again, nowhere does it denote that this is actually a live album other than saying 2001, which could mean anything. In fact, inside we've just got pictures of coffins. So, yeah, really nondescript. But this is a much shorter effort, but it's still good. We've still got some great material here. On Darkened Wings, Sulphur Souls, Funeral Bitch, The Black Tormentor of Satan, Jesus Christ Sodomized, The Grand Dance Macabre, Slay the Nazarene. Good stuff. Really good material here. Really enjoy it. Again, it's just the fact that it's released way after the fact, and also doesn't really indicate it's a live album. But Legion sounds fantastic. The whole band sounds tight. Morgan's riffs are absolutely ripping. Great stuff. Absolutely love it. Brilliant. live effort there. And then we've got the final article in my collection, another tape of World Funeral, Jaws of Death 2003, or XX111. Really, really good. Again, it sounds nasty, it sounds bleak. This is probably the nastiest and bleakest sounding. It is audible, you can hear what's going on. This has a certain vibe about it that feels a little bit kind of less dark and severe, in terms of the fact that we've got a little bit of sort of crowd interaction from Legion as well. It's not quite as serious, if you like, but it's still gritty and it's still nasty stuff. So World Funeral, Jesus Christ Sodomized, Hearse, Wolves, Azrael, World Funeral and Obedience make an appearance here. Bleached Bones, which is an absolute standout from that album, from that era rather. Baptism by Fire, Christ Raping Black Metal, With Satan and Victorious Weapons, Fist Fucking God's Planet. Really, really brilliant stuff. This is absolutely an essential for Marduk fans, definitely. Probably, again, not a great starting point if you've never heard of Marduk but you want to get into the band, although it does effectively provide live greatest hits for you. But I would probably start with well, maybe the Infernal Eternal album, or maybe some of the earlier studio albums, just to get a good feel for the level of black, nightmarish metal that you're about to be subjected to. So, another great live album. Interesting collection. I'll be very interested to hear any other thoughts and opinions on these live albums from the mighty Marduk. There is, of course, one missing, which is, I believe, Warsaw, but I will eventually acquire that. We've got Skrig Skara from 93. We've got Germania there, an absolutely solid album. We've got World Panzer Battle 1999 with that tremendous cover. Have to admit, really keen on that cover. Historic imagery there. We've got World Funeral, Jaws of Death, another great one. My personal favourite, we've got Infernal Eternal, and then we've got Totentanz 2001. If you're not a fan of live albums, then you're probably going to be sorely disappointed with this collection. However, if you like raw, energetic black metal, check out these live albums. It's full of classics, Marduk hits, Marduk fan favourites, just brilliant stuff, and a few sort of deeper cuts thrown in here and there as well. So, thanks very much for watching, my friends. Do feel free to share your thoughts and opinions on these live albums. Of course, check them out. Give some of those albums a chance, certainly the Infernal Eternal and maybe the Germania albums, because they are absolutely terrific. Share your thoughts and opinions, my friends. Feel free to like and subscribe, as always. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Above all, take care, my friends, and stay heavy.